Hey everybody, it's Nicole and we're here to paint a wine glass. Today we're going to be doing a sunflower daisy wine glass, and I'll teach you how to paint it. It's super easy. Anybody can do it. Here's what you need. You need a wine glass, a blank one, and any size is fine. I got these at Walmart. They come in packs of 4. You can buy them in packs of 12. And if you're going to be doing paint a glass a month with us, go ahead and pick up a thing of 12. It's super cheap. You know, they end up being maybe $1 a wine glass. You will need some craft paint. I use folk art and I buy it at Hobby Lobby, but you have to make sure you get the right kind. You've got to get the kind that's for wine glasses. And they have little wine glasses on top. It's specifically for painting on glass. For today's design, I used yellow and white. And then I also used one called copper. Now, if you want to use different colors, that's fine, obviously. You'll need some soft paint brushes. I use a medium-sized one, a really tiny one, and then 2 medium to small ones. Paper plate to put my paints on, a water to wash my brushes in, and then something to clean the glass with. And we can just use alcohol, like a rubbing alcohol and a cotton swab. I actually have little cotton towelettes that are already soaked in alcohol. I have it from back when I used to teach wine glass painting classes to parties. It was easy to carry, but you could just use, a bottle of rubbing alcohol and cotton balls. Something that you probably have around. You want to clean your glass really well. Anywhere that you plan on painting. We want to make sure there's no oils on the glass. It helps the paint adhere better to the glass. Okay, all right. Good. And now that my glass is clean, we want to make sure our hands aren't oily and touching the glass. So, if you don't have clean hands, go wash them. I sound like a mom. Go wash your hands. All right, well, I'm going to change camera shot locations so that you can see as I'm painting the glass what the different steps are. Okay, so I'm going to start off figuring out where do I want to do my little daisy chain. And on this one, I did kind of a diagonal up to the top. On your glass, you can, do them in a straight line if you want. You can do them up at the top, a cluster, like a circle, however you want to do it. The one thing that you should keep in mind is that you don't want to paint where your mouth is going to touch. So you don't want to paint along the top edge too close. While the paint is non-toxic, it's not recommended to have contact with food or drink. All right, and so I'm going to start using a Q-tip and making the centers of my flowers. All right, so we'll start with the copper for the yellow flowers. All right. And I'm just going to put a little bit on my little paper plate palette and a little yellow too. There we go. I like using Q-tips for the flower centers because it's very difficult to get a perfect little circle. And the Q-tip just does a really good job. So what I'm going to do to make them even is I'm going to go around to the other side and do one on the other side. All right, so there's 2 of my little flowers. And then I'm going to go quarter of the way around and another quarter of the way around, just so that I can kind of keep them equidistant. All right, and so that's going to be for my yellow flowers, and I'm going to turn the Q-tip around, try not to get the copper on my hand, and do now the daisies, and I'm going to put them in between the sunflowers, and I think I'm going to have them be up a little, so it'll be a little zigzag. Okay. Now, one thing that sometimes happens is you'll get a little spot in the middle of your Q-tip circle where the paint came off. And so what we may end up having to do is going back on top of that after this is dried a little bit to, I guess, strengthen that center. Okay, so we've got our middles of our flowers. I'm going to add some white to my paintbrush palette for the leaves or the petals. Okay, and the brush I'm wanting to use, I'm going to use this brush. It's flat on one side but wide. All right, and the reason I'm going to use this brush is because when I use that tip, it almost is a perfect little petal shape. All right. Okay, so I'm going to start with the white, and I'm going to put a little paint on both sides of my brush. Okay. And I'm actually I'm not going to do a whole lot of moving with the brush. I'm actually just going to rock it. So it's like laying the paint on the glass. Okay. And I'm going to do one petal, and then to even them out, I'm just going to go right across the little thing and do one on the opposite side. All right, and then I'm going to do one quarter of the way around. All right, so you can kind of see, and then I'm going to go fill in those blanks, and it does not have to be perfect. Flowers are not perfect little shapes, and if someone is looking at your wine glass thinking that's not a perfectly shaped flower, well, you need to not be hanging out with them. All right, so I think that's my first one. All right, I'm going to go to another one and do the same thing. So if you're looking at it like it were a clock, I guess you would be doing 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 11, 5, 2, and 8. I don't know. I just realized I'm not doing 12 petals, so that that little analogy is not working so well. All right. Let's go do another one. All right. It's looking kind of good. Right, here we go. Last little daisy. Okay. All right, so there are my daisies. Now, when I look at this one, I see that little spot. There's like a little empty spot, and I feel like there needs to be a little something there. So I'm going to do just a little bitty leaf almost behind. Now, if you notice my little daisies, I mean, they're not perfect, but the overall look is, oh, a daisy. All right, I'm going to clean off my brush, and I'm going to do the same thing with the yellow petals. Now, I cleaned off my brush, and then I wipe it, dry it real good with my paper towel, because I don't want a wet, watery brush, because I want to lay the paint on the glass. All right, and so I'm putting my yellow on my paintbrush. Let me kind of even that out. I want the same amount of paint on both sides, and I don't want it too clumpy. That one needs another petal. There we go. I've always loved daisies and sunflowers. I think it's a bit of the flower child in me. Okay, oops, there we go. All right, so I've got my little daisy cup here, and I'm gonna let it dry, and then I'm gonna go over any spots with a second coat that look a little see-through transparent. Okay, so this is dried. I'm gonna go over and do a second coat where I can see through the paint. Actually, oh, there's just one spot. Oh, with the copper centered. Okay, good. The yellow, I do see some spots that where the yellow needs. There. Okay, and the same for the petals. All right, and I'm really drying off that brush so that I don't put watery paint on there. Okay, so we've got our daisy chain wine glass painted with sunflowers and daisies. I'm gonna let this dry for about an hour. And then to set the paint, to cure it, we're gonna put it in the oven. And the way you do that is you put it in a cold oven, and then really what you do is you follow the directions on your wine glass paint. Mine say to put it at 350 for 30 minutes and then turn the oven off. And then you just let the wine glass stay in there until it cools off. So, you don't open the oven to let it cool off quickly. You want to have it a slow cool off time so that it doesn't crack. And then at that point, your wine glass is in pretty good shape. You can wash it and the paint won't come off. It says you can put it in the top dish rack of your dishwasher. I hand wash mine just, to be extra careful with it. But that's the last step. And so we're very close to being done. I hope that you've enjoyed painting your wine glass, and I would love to see what you come up with. Post any pictures of what you end up painting and how you change the design. I love seeing how creative people can be. Remember, if you like this video, let us know, click like on it or share it with your friends. Please comment and give us your ideas for our next wine glass video coming up. It'll be summertime, so I'm thinking maybe we'll do something ice cream related. That's just kind of off the top of my head. Or patriotic. Well, no, that would be July. But yeah, thinking in terms of summer. So, or lemonade, pitchers maybe. So it doesn't have to be wine glasses. But anyway, I'm going to let this dry and then I will post a finished picture on our webpage. Find us on allsitcan.net. That's ALSIKKAN.net. And have a great evening and enjoy your wine glass. Bye.